last week on the Al Nicoletti Show. So without further ado, let's welcome David to the show again. David, the great David Olds.
My man, how are you? Dude, what a killer intro. I am so excited to be here.
What are you all seeing on the TC side, on the dispo side of what's going on in the state of this market?
We are seeing growth in massive assignment and novation fees. It's such an old adage, the best time to buy real estate was yesterday. The next best time is today. If you thought you could buy deals and make a lot of money like a couple of years ago when things were really hot, like every seller knew that they could just put their property on the market and make a fortune. And you're telling me today, when people cannot sell their properties and they're in distress and properties are sitting on the market for a long time, you can't go out and help those people and make a ton of money? You're not trying.
It's really interesting because you see all the perspectives. You get the retail, the investors. So that perspective is really interesting. What is the role of a transaction coordinator, and why is it so needed in our industry for real estate?
I want him on the phone. I want you to contract this deal. I want you to contract the next deal and the next one after that. When we were running a wholesale company, I had a big hashtag on the wall. It said, sell the deal. Let the transactions be done by a transaction coordinator, because that's a completely different personality type. Put the right person in the right job.
Such a needed position that people don't realize they need until they need it. What would you say is the most important skill a real estate investor has to have today?
They're all important, but you have to be able to market. You have to be able to bring in leads before you can do anything. You could be the greatest comper in the world, but if you're only looking at 1 or 2 deals a week, it is a volume game, right? Not everybody is going to say yes to us. Even RJ Bates, probably one of the best closers in the country, gets 1 out of 10. Right. So sometimes people will say to me, or they'll be texting me, or they'll reply to one of my reels like, oh, I went driving for dollars today and got 30. I'm like, great, go back out and get 300.
David, had a blast with you being on the show.
Such a pleasure to be back.
What's up, everybody? Another night in the Al Nicoletti studio. We are here Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we got another banger of an episode for you tonight. If you want more content like tonight's episode, scan the QR code at the top of the screen. You're going to get the link tree where you're going to see everything from our social media, our YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and if you're on the road or just listening, subscribe and follow us on Spotify and iTunes and Audible if you're out there. And if you want more content on probates, partitions, quiet titles, who is not interested in all this curative stuff? I mean, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's trying to get into it. So if you want more information on that, we got videos. We're going to have more videos rolling out, so stay tuned for that. And we are back and live, and I have another banger of an episode. We are bringing back the great Bobby Suarez to the show. I got to bring Bobby back because everybody highly respects Bobby. He's doing big things in Florida, South Florida. He's on the TV commercials. We've had him on last time talking about the team, but he's so in the game with his team, and they're doing so many big things. We love knowing what's going on in the market, what's hot, what's happening. So we got to bring him back. I'm excited. I'm hyped up. I got my pen, paper, ready to take notes because we all want to learn from Bobby. So let's rock this thing. Hey everybody, my name is Al Nicoletti. I'm an attorney here in Florida, and welcome to the Al Nicoletti Show, where I bring on real estate super investors, rising rock stars, movers and shakers, and leaders of clubs in their communities that educate, entertain, and inspire all things on Florida real estate and bring in the best in the game. Florida, Ohio, California, Texas. We want to bring on people that are in real estate or in real estate adjacent areas on how you can take your company to the next level. On our show today, we're bringing back the great Bobby Suarez because Bobby is in the game all the time. If you don't know Bobby, look up selltobobby.com. If you're driving in Miami or Fort Lauderdale or the Tri-County area in South Florida, Bobby's got a billboard somewhere. Oh, and by the way, he's all over the TV commercials. You'll find him. All of a sudden, a TV commercial will come up during the football game. Sell to Bobby. You can't forget it. So this guy, he's always in the game. We had Bobby on last time talking about the team. We want to hear about what's going on in the market right now because his team is always finding out what's going on in deals. So without further ado, let's welcome Bobby back to the show. There he is, the man. What's going on, Bobby?
Al, thank you for having me, man. Everything is good. Can't complain, man. How about yourself?
We're busy. Everything's good. And, with the way that the market is, the market changes all the time. And from the last time we had you on the show, the market's definitely changed. And from, I think it was like last July until now, from March, April, May, so much has just changed. But I know you have such a ground game presence, a branding presence. You're on the TV ads. And so your team's always doing deals, wholesales, novations, fix and flips. And I remember last time you talked about all these different things that you all do, but we got to hear it from you from the get-go. What's going on the ground? What's happening in the market? And, what are you starting to see coming into fall and maybe next year?
Yeah, man. So definitely right now they just reduced rates. We just had the Fed meeting a few days ago. So they're lowering the Fed rate, which I think eventually mortgage rates will follow. In my opinion, we're going to probably see the 30-year mortgage average rate in the fives before the end of this year. I've been saying it for the last year or so. And right now, man, it's a challenging market. There's very little transactions happening. Last year in South Florida, in Dade, Broward County, there was only 6,000 transactions that traded off market. So there's very little transactions happening, and there's unfortunately a lot of competitors fighting to get those same leads.
Mm-hmm.
So in return, our cost per lead has gone up a lot. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm optimizing our cost per lead. We're trying to get rid of some of the stuff that are not really producing a lot of the contracts, and just optimizing our marketing. And before we used to meet once a month, man. Now we're meeting up weekly to pivot. So we're pivoting on a weekly basis, man.
Whoa. So that's definitely changed from the last time we talked.
Yeah.
Because I know you're big on team and you love, meeting with the team, and to know that the market's just changed so much that internally you've had to pivot to meet once a week. What are some of the things, just an idea of the things that you guys are going over once a week that's changed?
So one of the things that we're noticing is, like, obviously properties, like if you're a rehabber in this market, properties are sitting a lot longer in the market. Some properties are selling below what they thought they were going to sell when they first bought the property. So we market to buyers the same way we market to sellers. We're constantly trying to bring in new buyers, fresh buyers in our buyers list, so that we always have a buyer that's willing to buy our product. Because unfortunately, there's guys that are buying now that may not be buying 3-4 months down the line.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know it yet, unfortunately. So right now it's a time to be very careful, man. Stack your money, save the money. Don't be spending money on stupid stuff, and just optimize. And another thing that I've been noticing with a lot of my friends in different masterminds and whatnot is that scaling is no longer sexy in our industry. I think lean and mean is what's gonna get you to the next level in this industry, and just maximize what you're doing in your market. Once you've maximized it, that there's no more you could do, then eventually I think scaling to another market could be your next option. But right now, man, lean and mean. Like, for example, we're in South Florida. People think that we're not lean, but we operate very, very lean compared to what we make. And we've gone deep in the market. We know all the buyers. We're well known. We have an amazing brand in South Florida. We've gotten to the point now that we're getting a lot of referrals, which is not very common in our industry. In our industry, it's like you do one transaction, you're one and done. Usually you leave a bad taste on the seller's mouth or whoever was involved in the transaction. But I've made it an effort to change that. I want to offer an amazing experience for sellers from start to finish. Every time they interact with one of my employees, I want them to feel good. I want them to feel heard, that we're actually here to help, not just make money. And I think that's made a difference also to help us get referrals. And I would say, man, on a weekly basis, we're probably getting 5 to 10 referrals in South Florida from existing clients referring new sellers.
By pivoting to this strategy, you've noticed an increase from referrals from before the strategy, correct?
Well, mainly I think it's happened organically through branding. We've built an amazing brand in South Florida, a brand that people could trust. We're all over the place. So we're not just sending a direct mail piece and these people are opening it up and they don't know. Usually you get our mail piece, you recognize our brand because you saw us on TV, you saw us on a billboard, you look up online, we're all over the place, we're all over social media. So I think the branding piece is what's helped us get referrals in this marketplace. So
Interesting.
I think building a brand.
Yeah, very interesting. And if you can give us some examples, because I'm sure like there's so many different things that you guys get into with your team, trimming it down and staying lean, right? I really believe that as well in this market, that it comes a point where if the market gets a little stagnant, the flow is a little bit different. You really have to tighten up and not be so loose with the marketing dollars and throwing around money. So if you could give an example or a couple examples of what you all have done to really stay lean, because I think there's some teams out there that I can think of off the top of my head that they all talk about, hey, either reducing or kind of condensing into this more form of being efficient, but it becomes, you have to find out where to trim it, right?
Yeah, so I would say for us, our biggest expense as a company is and I wouldn't say it's an expense, it's an investment, is the marketing that we spend money on every week, every month. So we've really dialed in our marketing and gotten rid of the stuff that don't bring us opportunities and really optimize our marketing. Whether it's TV, like is there one channel that doesn't bring us leads or deals, we cut it off completely. Same thing with direct mail. We're optimizing on direct mail. Before we were sending hundreds of thousands of pieces, but I don't think we were fully optimized. So now we're being more direct. We're spending less, getting the same amount of leads, just by optimizing our marketing. As far as my team, our team hasn't changed, but my model has always been, how can you do the most with the least amount of people and make the most amount of money?
Mm-hmm.
So I have my team is still my same team from when we last had an interview, and probably I have an employee that's been with me 8 years now. So like I pay my people very well. So they almost become like an entrepreneur, like Patrick Bet David says in his books. And I'm the entrepreneur, and we all work together collectively to make money. So also another good point is pay them well, but that way you don't have that the rotating door of new people, always having to train them.
Mm-hmm.
You teach them, they leave. So just pay them well from the beginning and make sure you hire good people. But optimizing, man, I would say, like I said, is keep expenses low. Don't sign up to things you don't need, and just stay lean. And for me, it has been optimizing marketing specifically, because that's our biggest investment, not expense.
Yeah, because if you cut that back too much, then you could,
Yeah. Well, look, at the end of the day, scared money don't make money. You got to optimize. Like if it was up to me and I knew that we were gonna get 3 or 4x return on our money, I'll spend $1 million a week. But it gets to the point where you get that diminishing return, so you got to start dialing it back. Like I said, scaling ain't sexy no more, in my opinion, in our industry, and that's what I'm hearing from a lot of guys around the country.
Interesting, because a lot of people talk about scaling, right? And there's only two people I can think of, Will Dennis and you, that have talked about, don't focus on the scaling so much, right?
Yeah. So I recently had a meeting with my accountant. She also, I consider her like our fractional CFO. So last year we made $1 million net less than the year before, and it was because we had a lot of waste on marketing.
Wow. There
So
you
we
go.
netted $1 million less than 2023. So that goes to show you, man, we're getting a diminishing return on our market. So it's time to optimize. And eventually now we're going to enter new markets, and we're going to do it very strategically, the same way that we're doing it in South Florida. We're going to have boots on the ground in every market we're in. So our next market, I would say, is Palm Beach, even though we do deals in Palm Beach because it's obviously right next to Broward County, but we're not actively marketing to Palm Beach County, and we will start next month.
Wow. So you mean more of the branding and more of the commercials and billboards over in that area too?
Correct. Yes. Like the only thing we're doing in Palm Beach County where we have a presence, I would probably say it's radio, because it could be heard tri-county. But like TV, it doesn't get seen in Palm Beach as much. I guess it depends on the channel. It's considered a different MSA for South Florida. But we're gonna start doing direct mail and things like that in that market.
Got it. What are you seeing right now that you all are excited to focus on in terms of real estate deals? Is it still more wholesaling? Is it still more novations? Like knowing what the market is right now and the saturation areas, and how some things are a lot more expensive, maybe on materials and doing fix and flips. What is your favorite thing that you're going to get into in terms of deals?
Yeah, so we were heavy, probably when we last spoke, on doing fix and flips. The problem with doing fix and flips, there's a lot of issues, and there's also a lot of exposure liability wise. So man, I'm just trying to be lean. I want to have an easy business model. Having a lot of fix and flips, unfortunately, requires you to have project managers, requires you to have a lot of construction guys that you want to make sure they're licensed, they're properly insured. God forbid something happens in one of your houses, which I've had it happen to friends of mine, and there's obviously lawsuits that have come from that. And then not only that, man, the exposure of you thinking you're going to sell a house in this market for a certain price and you sell it at a loss. I'm trying to limit that exposure. I'm buying properties in specific areas that I know are middle class, maybe a little bit higher end for South Florida, but I know that they're going to sell fast because there's very little inventory in that community. So, but what we're doing, focusing right now, the most I would say is wholesale, and novations I would say is 50% of our business too.
Interesting. And if you can break that down for us, Bobby, on the novation side, like how does that look? Like what kind of relationship or deal making does that look like on novations? Because I remember you did talk about that last time. We just didn't have a little bit of time to get into it. But if you could elaborate a little bit more on the novations.
Yeah, so the novations, we're technically we're partnering up with us. Not part. I don't like the word partner up, but we're giving the seller like a net number, and we handle all repairs, any expenses, and we actually do make repairs. I know a lot of guys in our industry that don't. We do end up making repairs. I mean, I've even done roofs. Our goal is to make the house financeable and sellable, and we then assign it to one of our listing agents to sell it in the traditional market, in the retail market, and that's been working well for us. We're actually our average novation fee is neck and neck with our wholesale fee, which right now we're like in the high 30s. It's actually gone up since the last time we spoke. I think we were in the high 20s or maybe low 30s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's gone. That's gone up at least.
Yeah. And I think it's also due a lot less competition in the wholesale innovation game. A lot of guys still don't do novations, which for me it's mind blowing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And using these strategies, Bobby, what keeps you and your team from like going beyond Palm Beach and some of these other markets like Tampa, Orlando? Like I guess like when is that going to happen?
So I would say Palm Beach is going to happen next month. The reason I haven't done it is because I like to go deep in a market. Because remember, when you go into a new market, there's a lot of things that you need to start building in advance. You need to have a buyer's list. You need to know, you got to have boots on the ground, who's going to show your properties. There's a lot of things, complexities, but I have built a prop tech that it's going to hopefully help me move into new markets a lot easier. And I think I'm going to change the way that people dispose our deals in our industry, because I feel it's very fragmented. And I don't know if you want to maybe talk about that somewhat. I could briefly tell you about it.
Go for it. We're live.
Yeah. So man, I got tired of the old strategies of disposing a deal when you're a wholesaler. When we first started doing wholesaling, we would do the old styles, the sending the email blast, the text blast. I know me personally, I don't look at any of that stuff. That to me, it's automatically spam. And I can't imagine if you're another investor in like me, you're probably as annoyed as I am. You're getting deals, you're getting spammed on deals you don't want to see. There's a lot of fragments in that industry. And now people are actually using like WhatsApp group chats, which it got better, but the problem is you're still getting deals that don't meet your standard. So I built it specifically for Sell to Bobby to give it more enterprise value. I created a company. It's called Resi.com. We're actually releasing it this week to my own dispo team. And we're going to have our buyers little by little starting to build their buy boxes in our platform. So it's called resi.com. Like I said, it's not active yet, but I would say it's going to probably be active to the rest of the investment world, I would say by the end of this year, which is 2025. But in essence, what we're doing is, man, we have about 2,000 buyers, let's say, in South Florida. We're trying to make wholesaling easy. For example, there's other platforms out there that what you do is you create a listing, but then they tell you who to call, but you don't have relationships with these people. And I get it; it's good. You want to start building your buyers list. But let's say a guy like me that already has a humongous buyers list, I want to make a better experience for my current buyers. So we're having our buyers go in there and build their buy boxes. They only see the deals that are in their buy boxes. They're not getting spammed with a bunch of other random deals. And it's going to be more efficient, man. And the good thing is with our platform, you're going to be able to JV with other vetted wholesalers in our platform. So let's say, for example, I have a deal in Miami, Florida. I want to sell it. I input the deal and it'll tell me, hey, Bobby, based on your 2,000 buyers, 50 of them had a buy box match. So then you'll notify them. But then it'll also tell you, by the way, Bobby, there's other wholesalers that you have in the platform that have about another 350 buyers. Do you wish to JV with them? And these are things that obviously we ask in advance. But now instead of selling it to your 50 buyers, you have a chance to expose it to another 350 that are specifically looking in that area. And what you're doing is you're maximizing your buyers and you're leveraging other buyers of other wholesalers that already have relationships with these buyers. Mm-hmm. Up to the point right now, man, where I don't want my dispo agents cold calling all day for buyers. Right now, we have 10, 15 deals to sell at one time. I want them selling these things as fast as possible and moving on to the next one, because time is of the essence in our industry. So there's a lot of other benefits of Resi. Like, for example, we're going to have first look periods. Like, we're going to have different tiers for buyers that perform well. You know, our buyers are going to be graded on here. So you're going to be incentivized. Like, are you a buyer that buys sight unseen? Are you using hard money or cash? Are you giving us a hard time putting up escrow? We're going to weigh a lot of these things, and it's going to give you a score. Depending on that score, you're going to be on a higher tier. You're going to have benefits, obviously, by being on the higher tier in our platform. And the whole point of this is to make it easier, more streamlined. We are going to have the capabilities of all these other softwares where you could go in and build your buyers list, but it's not going to be our forte. You know, like, our business model is going to be like have a better experience for your current buyers that you already spent a ton of money building that list, and leverage other investors' buyers. And the good thing is with our platform is, man, you own your own buyers, dude, not the platform. So for example, like, if you're an investor in our platform to sell your deals, you sell your deals to your own buyers, you know, there's no fees or anything. And Resi doesn't own your buyers either. Which is very important to know.
And I'm assuming before you even came up with this, like, you looked out there and you didn't see any other platform that had this kind of opportunity.
Not to this magnitude.
Wow. There's
a lot of other things that we're gonna have that I yet don't want to share. And I want to kind of have that surprise to the market. But like I said, I built it for myself. I didn't really care to create a business from this. But I feel there is a need, from talking to other guys and talking to guys in my mastermind, that there's a huge need to make the dispo process more efficient. And I think this is it, man. I think this is going to be a game changer for our industry. Not only that, I have a lot of relationships with institutional funds, so I'm going to be bringing all those relationships into the platform, even home builders. And we're going to be able to, like, for example, if you're an investor in the Midwest and an institutional fund wants to start buying there, now you're going to potentially have a buyer that is on the Resi platform that's a national buyer, you know, that wants to buy those type of deals. So I'm going to bring a lot of buyers and opportunities that I feel a lot of the guys that are going to be on our platform wouldn't have, you know, but I'm bringing them in just because that's my background.
Really interesting. I can't wait to see this. I'd love to see that platform whenever you launch it, whenever you get it ready. Because, I mean, if you're doing this, you've definitely put a lot of thought into doing this, because you've done so many different wholesales, fix and flips, and deals that you must have really thought through what the investors are missing. And then you're hearing this on the ground level through the masterminds. And we're all going to check this out. Definitely. You let us know when it launches, Bobby.
I've been working on it for 2 years, man. So I'm glad that we're at the final stages of it. If you want offline, I'll give you a quick tour of it.
Yeah, offline. Exactly. I got to get a preview. We got to take a look at this. It'll be fun. But Bobby, on that point of kind of like how this kind of came about, talk to us about the importance of being in these communities or these masterminds or these groups, because it seems like you can learn so much about what's going on within your team, but then you're also learning from the guys and the gals that are doing it on the ground elsewhere,
Yeah, man, I would say for me, first of all, you could never stop learning. There's always something that you could get better at, and there's always somebody doing it better than you are. So going to these meetings, man, if I could pick up 1 or 2 nuggets to bring back, for me, it's more than enough. But aside from that, the most important thing about these masterminds and communities is the people, the connections. There's guys in there that, aside from just being the mastermind, we've become buddies. We travel with each other, our families, our friends. It's just just networking, man, I think is very, very important. And having somebody you could call if you have a quick question. Oh, this guy's an expert at this. Let me call him up. The fact that he'll answer, it's a great thing,
Yeah.
So I would say, man, is obviously for knowledge, you could never stop learning and connections.
Yeah, love it. And I think it's so important to go to these groups and these meetups, because it's really all about the in-person too. A lot of people have resorted to social media and just the Facebook groups. And hey, that's great too, because there's a whole other world to tap into through Facebook and all the other communities and threads, but definitely through the communities, the masterminds, the RIAs. I mean, there's so many different places that you can go to tap into. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, Bobby, I think last time we did it, but we got to do it again. Our signature questions that I have at the end of my show. We got to know, even since the last time, so much has changed in technology. And I know you got Resi coming out, but in terms of software, what are you all leveraging with your team in terms of software? Have you noticed anything new since the last time, or is there anything that you love using?
We've been using the same tools consistently. We, like for example, our CRM is Salesforce. I would say we haven't really brought in anything new other than Resi. I think Resi is going to be a game changer for us. I did want to mention, man, I am an investor also in the healthcare field, which we could touch up on that too if you like.
Yeah, no, let's hear about this. Yeah.
So last year we opened a clinical research center, which, for example, every medication that's out there has to be FDA approved. But before the FDA approvals, you got to go through clinical trials. So we opened a state-of-the-art facility in Doral. It's about 5,000 square feet. We have about 13 doctors with over 10 different specialties. So I'm looking to grow that business. We just actually opened our second location in Jupiter, Florida. And by the end of next year, I want to have 10 locations. So if anybody's in that industry and would love to chat about that, please reach out.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you talked about that, because that's a whole other sector, healthcare sector and real estate kind of coming together. So that's really cool. We'll all have to check that out. I've not heard about it yet, but that's great, Bobby. I think what you're doing is fantastic.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
It's great to hear that you're also very consistent with your software usage as well. Like it's, a lot of times some people are always pivoting and switching, there's shiny objects out there, but you're always staying steady, and the team's staying steady. So that's really, really good.
If it works, man, keep it going.
Love it. What would you say, Bobby, right now is the number one skill set real estate investors need to have right now?
Sales, man. If you're a closer, there's no AI tool that's going to replace you, in my opinion. So just get really good at sales.
Sales. Yep. It's what we hear about all the time, right? Because everybody's talking about the data, the leads, the type, the markets, the asset classes, but then they forget about the whole other 50% of this whole game, which is understanding, talking, and sales, and really luring that in.
You could have all the data, all the leads in the world, but if your team can't close or you don't have any closers, you're blowing your money.
Yeah. Hear you right there. Well, that's great. And I know that we've definitely had on people that have talked about sales, and I'm sure that's a a whole other thing to talk about with the sales process too. Bobby, right now, your favorite book, what would you say that is currently?
My favorite book. Hold on, let me look back here. I would say Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. It's a really good book, very entertaining, about the story of the founder of Nike.
Love it. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about that book.
Great book, very entertaining.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Bobby, this is always fun doing this with you because we love learning from what you're doing on the ground and always appreciate you coming on the show. And, we're going to check out of course, people got to check out saltofbobby.com, and you're going to see them. As soon as you see the episode, all of a sudden you're going to be watching the Dolphins football game, and then you're going to see the commercial just like I did. I remember I saw Bobby there. I got all excited. I was like, I know that guy. So it's always a blast. And then Omni, what was the other? Omni Research?
It's omnicureresearch.com.
Check that out.
Rezi.com. Like I said, it's right now we have it as kind of like a landing page. It's REZZIE.com, but it should be open to the public before the end of this year.
Great. Yeah, we're all going to check that out. Bobby, as I do at the end of my show, we do the final words, final thoughts. Final words, final thoughts, Bobby Suarez.
Man, just continue working hard, stay consistent, and don't give up, man. There's no such thing as a overnight success.
Keep working. Keep at it.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go for it. Bobby, love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, man.
Of course, anytime. And we'll catch up soon, hopefully down in Miami one day. And
come down, man. We got to come hang out in the Florida Keys too.
Oh, yes. Yes. Love it. Let's do it. Sounds good.
Thank you, brother.
All right, Bobby. We'll catch up soon, brother.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Take care. All right, everybody. You heard it there from the great Bobby Suarez. I mean, he always has amazing things to talk about what's going on in the market. And I think what's really exciting is what's coming out with the Rezi.com platform that he has, because everybody wants to be able to do deals easier and be able to have that builders buyers list and be able to do just deals all the time instead of having to source that out every single time to go find a buyer, go find a buyer, go find a buyer. So there's so much to unpack from these episodes. If you missed it, go back, check it out, rewind, and you got to catch up what Bobby's up to right now and talking about the state of the market. And if you want more content like this, scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen, and you're going to get our YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Follow us, subscribe, and if you're on the go, iTunes and Spotify. It's been another episode in the books, and have a great night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great night. Take care. We'll see you soon.